In this video, we are going to draw this cute kawaii illustration of skull ice cream in Procreate. During this easy step-by-step tutorial, you'll get familiar with a lot of useful features like Symmetry Tool and assisted drawing, clipping masks, and blending modes. By the end, you'll not only draw an adorable illustration you'll be proud of, but also feel super confident using Procreate. And now, let's spend some time drawing! Let's begin our class firstly by deciding what kind of canvas we are going to be using. Today we are using a standard square canvas that you can find in Procreate. Both pixel width and pixel height are set at 2048 pixels. Of course, if you'd like to use your own dimensions for the canvas, just go for it. As for DPI, we are using 300 and our color profile is set as sRGB with this low number. When it's all done, we are hitting done and getting redirected to our new canvas. Now we need to decide what kind of colors we are going to be using throughout the whole tutorial. If you want, you can use your own colors, but if you want to follow along, please go to the description and download all the materials that we are going to be using throughout this class. When you do it, first thing that we will need to do is to go and select the first color. So let's just go to our color palettes and we will go under cards right here, because here we have all the colors names. Let's just go and select the color with the name lines. When we did it, we will go to our brush library and we can pick any brush from the sketching folder. When you pick the brush, let's just go and turn one option that Procreate has that will help us build up our first scheme. So firstly, we are going to our range icon, we are going under canvas and we will toggle drawing guides. We also will go under edit drawing guides and on the bottom we will go under symmetry. We have this line that is going from top to the bottom through the center of the canvas. That's exactly what we need. We are not touching anything here, we are just hitting down over our top right. And when we have the result like that, let's just go and create our first shape. So we are going more toward the bottom and we will create a descending line going down in that way. At the end, we will hold our line and we will drag it toward the center to connect it with our opposite side. You can see when we are using our symmetry tool, we are mirroring what we have on one of the sides on the opposite side too. So when we have the result like that, let's just go to this option that popped up on the top. This is our editing mode. We have some nodes onto our editing mode. We can just go to them and we can adjust them. So let's just go to one of the nodes, for example, to the top one, and we will drag this whole shape a little bit more down. When we have a more chubby shape like that, let's just go and tap on the screen to get away from our editing mode. Now, when we have the result like that, we can go over the top and create another guiding line that will go horizontally. So that way we will know where we have the end of the shape. When we have it in that way, let's just step a bit from our side and we will go to the top with a shape of the circle. So the same way as before, we will hold our line and the end, we can move it to adjust the shape and we can go over our editing mode to adjust it even more. Let's just go and try to make it a little bit bigger than the whole shape that we have on the bottom. And now as we are creating a scheme, it doesn't matter if it's very neat and very cute. So basically what we need is something like that, and when you have the result that you like, that you need, let's just go and tap on the screen to get away from our editing mode. So now when we have the result like that, let's just go and put a few additional guiding lines that will help us to build up our illustration. We will go and find the center on this top shape and we will just go and make a little mark down like that. When we have it, we will go to the bottom part and we will step a bit from it to create another guiding line. So we are just dividing this bottom part by two pieces. And when we have the result like that, we are ready to move on and start creating our lines. So firstly, let's just go to our layers and we will go to this layer number 1, what we have right here, and we will rename it as scheme. Let's just tap on the layer and choose rename from the list. Also, to make this little scheme not too bright, let's just go to this N icon on our layer and we will adjust the opacity. So when you have the result that you like, let's just go and tap on the plus icon to create a new layer. We can straight away go and rename this layer as lines. And when we have this layer renamed, let's tap on it and let's select Drawing Assist from the list. So onto this layer, we will be able to mirror our objects on opposite sides too. When we did it, we are using the same color and then we will go to our brush library and we will go to the inking folder. In the inking folder, we will select Technical Pen Brush. If you want all of your lines to be very smooth, we can just go and tweak one option on this brush to make it happen. So let's just tap on this brush, and in the brush studio, we will go under stabilization. Here on the top, we have the option streamline with a slider amount. We can go try it out onto our drawing pad. If we don't like how our line looks, we can just go to this amount and we can adjust it. So play around with this option, and when you found what you like, let's just hit done over the top right. Of course, you can always get back to this option and adjust it later on if you need to. So now when we have our brush prepared, when we have our color, let's just go and start creating our shapes. So firstly, let's just go to the bottom and let's recreate the shape that we have for our cone. Let's just go and just repeat the line that we have here. Also, you can just go and adjust the size of your brush to your liking. If you want your lines to be very bold, you are welcome to go and thicken them. If you want them to be pretty neat and pretty small, you are welcome to keep your line at a very low value. So now let's just repeat what we have right here. And when we have the result like that, let's just go to the bottom and let's soften up this corner by making it not a straight corner, but a curve. So just going over one of the sides and just repeating the shape like that. When we have it, let's just grab our eraser and let's erase the parts that we don't need. Try to make the lines even when you are creating additional elements. And when you have the result in that way, let's just go over the top and let's start creating our skull here. So firstly, let's just go over one of the sides, for example, to the left, and we will go to this little intersection that we will have with our cone. From this intersection, we will go and start creating our skull in that way. So just going and creating a cheekbone like that. Again, if you want to play around with the size of your brush, you are welcome to go and do that. Basically, what we need is the shape like that. When you have it in that way, let's continue going to the bottom and we will start creating some dents to basically create our teeth. So firstly, we are going up with a curve like that and then going down to start creating our teeth. So when you have the curve going in that way, let's just go to the center and we will start by creating a shape of the tooth. So what we need to do is to create something in that way. You can play around and create the shape by holding your Apple Pencil at the end of the line. You can just go manually and adjust it later on to your liking. All that we need to do is to end up with something like that. If you need to erase some parts, grab an eraser and adjust the parts that you need to adjust. When you have the result that you like, let's just go to the side and let's create another tooth. So firstly, we will step a bit from the top and create a similar shape to what we already have onto our screen. Let's just go and work onto the shape and we will put this shape behind our first set of teeth. So when you have something in that way, let's just go and work more onto our outlines and create a nice looking lines. When you have the result like that, let's work more onto the bottom part of our skull so we can just go and connect it nicely with our teeth. Let's firstly go and create a little curve going up in that way. Then we will grab our eraser and we will erase all the lines that we don't need and we will work onto our outlines. And now when we have something going in that way, let's just go over the top and we will start working onto the top part of our skull. So firstly, we are going to this cheekbone that we have here and we will go up with a shape like that. When you have this first curve, let's just go to the top and connect the whole shape over the top part. Pay attention to this little intersection in the middle, and when we have the result like that, let's just go and work on it even more by using the tool that Procreate has. So we will go under our Magic Wand tool and we will go under Liquify. We have a lot of options on the bottom, don't worry, we will just need to go under Push and we will be adjusting only the size of the brush that we are going to be pushing with. So let's just go and start working onto our shape and we will just go adjust the size of our brush. We will go and push some parts to create a nicer shape for our skull. So let's firstly go and make it a little bit more rounded and we will also go and move it a little bit more from our little cone. So let's just spend some time here and adjust the shape to our liking. Basically, what we need is something like that. And also when we have this shape done, let's just go and increase the size of our pushing brush and we will go to the bottom of our cone and we will just tweak it a little bit and we will put it a little bit higher. So the top of our skull will be a little bit bigger than our cone. And when you are overall satisfied with everything here, let's just tap on our Magic Wand tool twice and let's just take a look at our outlines from the distance. Decide whether you want to adjust some parts, maybe you want to go along the lines and make them not that wavy. You are welcome to go and do that. Grab the brush and work onto your outlines. When we have the result that we like, let's just go and continue adding some details. So firstly, let's just work more onto our outlines and let's just go and thicken up some parts. We will go, for example, to this little intersection right here between our cheekbone and our middle part of the head, and let's just go and add some thickness to the lines by just going and creating something in that way. So just creating another outline and then going inside and adding the color in. If you want to go with the same technique to other areas of your skull, you are welcome to go and do that. For example, we can go right here near our teeth and we can do the same thing here. And when you are done with this task, let's just go and add a few more additional elements. So firstly, we will go again to our teeth and we will go from our sides and create another lines like that. You can play around with their position, with the curvature, with everything that you want to play around with. If you want, you can just go and add some thickness to this part. And when you have the result that you like, let's just go and add a few more details. So for example, let's just go and continue by creating a shape of the nose. We can do it on the same layer, or if you want to adjust it later on, we can just go to our layers and create one more layer here and set it as assisted. When we have it, we will just go to these two intersections that we have on our scheme, and what we need to do is to create a shape of the reversed heart. You can play around with the shape, you can make it bigger or smaller, you can make it chubbier, or on the contrary, make it very, very thin. It's all up to you. Basically, what we need is the shape of the heart. When you have this shape done, let's just go and drag the color inside. If you want to adjust it with your eraser, you are welcome to go and do that. And also, let's just take a look at everything from the distance and decide whether we want to adjust this shape or not. If we want to move it, we can go to our arrow key on the top left. We will go under uniform and also we will go and turn on snapping right here into the settings. If you want to move this shape down, we will hold our Apple Pencil at some blank space and we will follow this orange line. When we are following this orange line, we will know that we are right at the center and we are not moving our shape to the side or anywhere where we don't want it to be. So now when we have the result that we like, let's just tap on our Magic Wand tool and let's continue creating other elements. So onto this layer, let's just go above our little nose and we will create a little dent like that. So we will just create a little curve above this nose. So when we have the result like that, if you want to, you can go and adjust this little shape. So for example, we can go under our liquify and make it a little bit smaller or bigger or adjust our curvature. It's all up to you. These dents later on we will recolor differently, so it is just an auxiliary line that we will need here. When we are done, we are tapping on our adjustments twice and then let's just go to our layers and we will combine these two layers together. So tapping on the layer on the top and choosing merge down. When we did it, let's just go and work onto our eyes. Let's just go and create one more layer and again we will tap on it and we will choose drawing assist. When we have this layer selected and when it is assisted, we will go to one of the sides and we will create a shape of the circle or an ellipse. So basically we are creating our shape and we are holding it at the end. Then we will go to our editing mode and we will go and play with our nodes. So let's just go and create the shape in that way. If you want to make your shape bigger when you are at the editing mode, just go right between the nodes, hold your Apple Pencil there and drag it to the side. So when you found the size and the rotation and the position that you like, let's just tap on the screen to get away from our editing mode. And then we will just go and drag the color inside. And when we have it in that way, we will go again to our Magic Wand tool, liquify, and we will work onto the overall shape of our eyes. So again, we will just go and adjust the size of our brush. And basically what we need is something like that. Let's squish the shape of the eyes a bit on all sides, making them not quite round but more like rounded rectangles. When we have the shape that we like, let's just go and deselect everything and let's just take a look at everything that we have from the distance. Decide whether you want to move your elements on the eyes a little bit down or up, and if you want to do that when your layer with the eyes is selected, we will again go to our arrow key and adjust the position of these elements. Just remember that you will need to follow along this orange line. Find the position that works for you and let's just deselect everything by hitting our arrow key. And now when we have the result like that, let's just go and start adding additional elements. So we will go again to our layer with the lines and we will start adding additional parts here. Firstly, let's just go and make the whole illustration that we have right now a little bit smaller. And to do that, we will need to select both of these layers. So when the first one is selected, we will go to the next one and we will swipe it from left to right. When two of them are selected, we will go and hit our arrow key and we will go again to our uniform method. We will go to one of the nodes that we have in the middle, so on the top or on the bottom, and we will just make the whole illustration smaller. Let's also drag it a little bit down and we will again follow this orange line. So when we have something in that way, let's just deselect everything and let's get back to our layers to hide our layer with this key. To do that, we will go to this little check mark and we will just tap on it. When we have the result like that, we are not merging our eyes with our main shapes because later on it will be easier for us to add the color to the eyes by using a separate layer. So now let's just go to our layer with the lines and from here we will create one more layer. When we have it in that way, let's just go to one of the sides and let's create a scoop of ice cream. We will go, for example, to our right and we will create a shape of half of the circle or half of the ellipse. Let's again do it just with one line and then we will go over the top, and if we need to adjust the size or rotation or anything right here, we will just go and do that. So for example, let's just go with a shape like that and then we will go and start creating some melting parts onto our bottom part of this scoop. So let's just get back to our brush and firstly we will go over the left and we will need to follow along the overall shape of our skull. So we will just need to think a little bit about gravity. You can do this melting part just with one line or you can stop at some points and create continuation of this line. So basically what we need is something in that way. When you have the result that you like, let's just grab our eraser and we will erase all the lines that we don't need. And now when we have this overall shape, let's just work a bit on the top of this part and we will go and create a little melting part here too. So let's just go somewhere to the middle on the top part and we'll create another drop in that way. And again, when we have our outline, let's just grab the eraser and erase the parts that we don't need. Now take a look at your little part on the top and decide whether you want to adjust it in any way. So for example, let's just go again to our liquify tool and firstly let's just go to the top and we will squish it just a little bit and we will just work on the overall shape if we want to. So spend some time here and adjust the shape to your liking. When you have the result that you like, let's just go and deselect everything by hitting our magic wand tool twice, and then let's just go and start adding a few more elements. So again, we're getting back to our brush and let's just go over the bottom part on our left and let's create a few more scoops of our ice cream, just to balance out our illustration and create some interesting shapes right here on our left. So let's firstly go and again create the shape of half of the circle or half of the ellipse. We will hold our line and the ends. We will go to our editing mode, adjust it to our liking if we want to, change the size if you want to, if you need to, find the position to your liking. When you are overall done, let's just go away from this mode and let's erase all the lines that we don't need. If you want to go and add some melting parts here too, you are welcome to go and do that. Just create smooth connections between your lines. And when you are done adding your additional parts, don't forget to erase the parts that you don't need with your eraser. And when we have the result like that, one more time, let's just grab our brush and let's just go and create another half of the circle right here on the top, just this time a little bit smaller than the previous ones. So again, creating the shape, holding it at the end, go into the editing mode and adjusting it. When you have the result that you like, make sure that all of your lines are connected. If you want to go and maybe add some thickness to some of the parts, you are welcome to go and do that. If you want to go and add some additional elements, again, you are welcome to go and do that too. When we are overall done with this task, let's just get back to our layers. We will go back to our layer with the lines. Firstly, we will tap on it and we will choose Drawing Assist from the list to turn it off. And then we will grab our eraser and we will go along this line that we have on the top and we will erase it because we don't need it. When we are done with this task, one more time, go into our layers and combining these two layers together. If you have some little parts that you need to adjust or erase, go grab your eraser or work with your brush and adjust the parts that you need to adjust. And now when we have this outline, one more time, let's just get back to our layers and create one more layer on top to create a few more additional elements. Let's just go again to our brush and firstly we'll go to this place that we have on our top left and we will create a little bow here. Firstly, let's just go and create a circle just the same way as before. You can go with the full circle and hold it at the end, or straight away you can just go with half of it and create it going in that way. If you have the option circle on the top, when you are at the editing mode, you can tap on it and it will snap to a perfectly round circle. Position it to your liking, adjust the size to your liking. When you are done, let's just go and tap on the screen to get away from our editing mode. And now when we have these little elements, let's get back to our brush and let's firstly go over one of the sides and we will create a part of the bow. Let's just go with the shape like that. When you have it, decide whether you want it to be up front or on the back and decide whether you need to create the lines that you have on the bottom. And now when we have the result like that, let's just go to the opposite side and repeat the same line here. Now take a look at this bow and decide whether you want to adjust some parts, and if you want to, let's just go to our liquify tool and adjust it from here. When we are done, let's deselect everything, grab our eraser and erase all the overlapping lines that we don't need. If these overlapping lines are on the separate layer, like right here, we will just get back to our layers, go to our previous layer with the lines, and we will erase the parts that we don't need. And when we have it in that way, one more time, going back to our layers, and straight away we can just go and merge these two layers together. And then we will go and work more onto our shape of the bow. So firstly, let's just go to this middle part and we will create a little line on the top like that. And we will turn this little bow into a little cherry. Let's just go on the top and create a line going up in that way. You can vary its size, you can vary the direction of it, it's all up to you. When you have it in that way, let's just go to our bow and we will create a few additional elements here. So let's just go firstly and create a line going down in that way. If you want, you can make it wavy or you can just find a different line to your liking. And we will do the same on the opposite side too. Also, if you want, you can go and add an additional outline right here on the top, so this part is some kind of protruding. So just go there and create a thicker line. Adjust the lines if you need to, and when you are done, let's just go and add a few more elements. So again, we are going to our bow and we will go right on the sides from this little cherry and we will add a few folds. So very easily, we will just go and create a few lines like that. And when we have it in that way, let's just go and add a few more elements. So firstly, we are going to our layers, creating one more layer on top, and let's just go to this melting part on the scoop and we will create another little bow here. So firstly, let's just go and create a shape of the heart. Very easily, just creating it in that way. If we need to adjust it, we will go to our liquify tool and adjust it from here. When you have the shape that you like, we can go to our layers and make a copy of this layer, so later on we can use these elements too. Let's just swipe this layer from right to left and choose duplicate, and we will store it by going to this little check mark. We will tap on it and we will hide it. Now get back to your initial layer with these elements and let's just go and add the bow. What we need to do is to do the same thing as we did right here, or if you want to experiment and maybe create a different shape, you are welcome to go and do that. Basically, what we need is something in that way. Again, when you have this shape, let's just get back to our liquify tool and adjust it from here. When you are overall satisfied, let's deselect everything, get back to the brush, and let's add additional parts here. So again, let's just go and create maybe some wavy lines like that, or if you want to experiment and create something different, again, you are welcome to go and do that. If you want, you can go and create thicker lines on the top and on the bottom, so this part is some kind of protruding. If you want, you can grab an eraser and erase these little additional elements here too. So play around and create the additional parts on the boat to your liking. And when you are done working on the thickness, let's just go and add this little fold right here on the sides from our little heart. When you are done, decide whether you want to move this little shape or rotate it or do something with it. If you want to go to the arrow key and adjust it from here. Find a different placement for it. If you want to rotate it, go to this green note, hold your Apple Pencil and make a rotational movement. Again, take a look at it from the distance and decide whether you still want to adjust something or not. If you want, go to the liquify tool and adjust it from here. And when you are done with this element, let's just go and add a few more additional parts. Firstly, we can go and merge these two layers together, so go into the layers and merging them down. Then we will go and create one more layer and we will go right to this intersection between our little scoop part on the top and the cheekbone that we have on the bottom, and we will create another shape for this cherry. So we will just go right between this scoop of ice cream that we have on the top and our cheekbone, and we will create another shape for our cherry. So one more time, let's just go with the shape of the circle, go into our editing mode, selecting circle, finding the placement for this element, and finding the position and the size and everything that we want to find here. So find what works for you, find the position and the size. When you are done, let's get away from our editing mode and let's erase all the lines that are overlapping that we don't need. Merge the layers when you are ready, and then let's just go over the top and again create this little dent, and then we will create a little stem right here. If you want, you can play around with the position of this element. Again, find what works for you, and when you are done, let's continue by going and creating a few more elements. So firstly, let's just go to the sides and we will add a few more additional elements to our illustration. Firstly, let's just go and create a few stars. We will go and create just one element, and again, we will store it and we will position it onto our little parts on other sides. So create a little star, adjust the lines if you need to. When you have the result like that, let's just go and erase this little part and make it on the separate layer. When we have it on our layer with the lines, we'll need to go to our S ribbon icon. We will select freehands method and we will select only this element. When only this element is selected, we will swipe 3 fingers down on our iPad and we will go and select cut. Now we will swipe 3 fingers down one more time and we will choose paste, and we will have this element on a separate layer. So let's just go and adjust it if we want to with our liquify tool, and when we are satisfied with it, we will go and make a copy of it. So to make a copy, we will just need to go to our layers, swipe it from right to left and choose duplicate. You can go straight away and hide it, or if you want to create a few elements just straight away, you are welcome to go and position them onto your canvas. So let's just go to our arrow key and let's just go to the opposite side, maybe make the size of this element bigger, rotate it differently, find a different placement for it, and when you are ready, let's just go and deselect everything. If you want to play around with the previous element, you are welcome to go and do that. Again, play around, find the position, the rotation, the size that will work for you. And when you are done, let's go and merge all of these layers together. Of course, if you don't want to make another copy and put it somewhere onto your canvas. So when you are done, let's merge all of these 4 layers together. So go into the top one, merge down, and doing it quite a few times until everything is on one layer. Now let's just go and make one more copy of our layer with the heart. We will unhide them, we will go to one of them, and we will firstly go and position it outside from our illustration. Adjust the size and rotation to your liking, and when you are done, let's just go and put another heart that we have here stored right on the top of our hat. Adjust the size if you want to, adjust the rotation, the position, the everything that you want to adjust here. And now let's just go and merge everything together. So again, go into the top, merge down, and everything is on our layer with the lines except our eyes. Now, let's just take a look at everything that we have here and decide whether we want to adjust some parts or not. Firstly, let's just go and create additional elements for our eyes. So we will go and create one more layer, and onto this new layer, we will go and create the tears here. So let's go again to our brush and we will go over our right part firstly, and we will go and create a shape going in that way. We are not just creating it like that, because we have some little dents here onto our skull, so we'll just need to follow the natural lines on the skull and create our little tear going in kinda that way. You can play around with this shape by going to the Liquify tool and adjusting it from here, so spend some time here and adjust it to your liking. When you have the result that you like, you can go over the top and connect the shape together by creating a line here. To make it very naturally and to make it sure that it is connected, we can just go to our layer with our eyes and just do it in that way. When we have it in that way, let's just get back our layer with the eyes, and on the same layer with our tear, let's just go to the opposite side and create a smaller shape here too. Let's just go again with this shape like that. Again, close the shape on the top, adjust it with your Liquify tool if you want to. When you have the result like that, let's go and merge these layers together. So going on the top, merge down. If you want, firstly, you can go to this layer with the lines and erase these lines right here and then merge it after that. And now let's just go and add a few more additional elements. So for example, we can go somewhere here on the top and make some random little elements, some dots, maybe some little circles, just some texture. If you want to do that, you are welcome to do that. If you don't want to do that, you can keep your illustration as it was before. And when you are satisfied with everything here, one more time, take a look at your illustration and decide whether you want to adjust something or not. Maybe you want to play around with your Liquify tool with all the lines that you have here and adjust the overall shape. If you want to do that, you are welcome to go and do that. And if you are overall satisfied with everything here, let's continue by going to the next part where we will add our basic colors. So let's begin this part firstly by going to our layers, and we will create one more layer on the top of our layer with the lines. We will need to grab this layer and put it underneath our layer with the lines, so we are just holding it and dragging it down, and then we will get back to our layer with the lines. We will tap on it and we will choose reference. When we are using reference, we can use these lines that we have on this layer and we can use them to add the color on the separate layer. So let's just get back to this new layer that we have created, and we will go to our color palettes and we will select the color with the name orange. Let's just drag it to our code. When we did it, let's continue by going and creating one more layer. We will go again to our color palettes, and this time we will select our light grayish yellow green color. With this color, we will go and recolor all of our ice cream parts. When you've recolored one area, you can just go to this continue filling part and just go to other areas and tap on them to recolor them. When you've recolored everything here, let's just tap on our little check mark right here on the top, and then we will go and again create one more layer. Also, if you want, you can do it on separate layers, so maybe later on it will be easier for you to recolor these little parts that you have on the top. So for now, let's just go with recoloring the shape of our head and creating a new layer for the scoops that we have on the top and on the sides. And now when we did it, let's just tap on the plus icon into our layers and we will go and select another color. So this time, let's just go with just pink color, and we will just go and recolor some of the areas that we have here. So let's just go with all the elements that are supposed to be pink. So our little cherries, our little hearts, and maybe some other parts that you would like to adjust. When you have the result like that, let's tap on this little check mark. And also, if you forgot to go to the teeth and recolor them too, like I did, you can just go back to your layers, go to this layer where you have this color, where you have your color for your head. Let's just get back to the color light grayish yellow green, and we'll recolor these little parts too. Now, when you did it one more time, let's just get back to our layers. Let's just go and create another layer, and onto this layer, we will go with our light cyan color. With the light cyan color, let's just go and recolor our bows and also our tears. If you want to go and recolor some other areas, for example, maybe some little stars here, you are welcome to go and do that. And when you did it, we are done with our basic colors, so let's continue by going and adding additional colors to that. So firstly, let's just get back to our layers and we will start by going to our cone. We will create one more layer on top. We will tap on this new layer and we will choose clipping mask. Now everything that we are creating will be appearing only on the areas that we have on our previous layer. Let's just go to this N icon and we will go and choose multiply blending mode. For now, we will keep the opacity at maximum and then we will go to our color palettes and select the red-orange color. We also will go and select the brush that you downloaded from the description. This is the brush with the name Double Technical Pen. Now, what we need to do is to go to our cone and create a texture of our waffle here. We will do just with one line without lifting up our Apple Pencil, and we will go and create something in that way. When you have the result like that, if you don't like how it looks, you can try it one more time and create something that you would like. If you want to adjust it, you can go to your liquify tool and adjust it from here. When we are done with this task, let's just go and deselect everything by hitting our magic wand tool twice. And now let's just go to these lines. We will create one more layer. We will get back to these lines. We will tap on it and we will choose reference. We will go to this new layer on top. We will tap on it. We will choose clipping mask. And we also will go to the same color that we are using right now. And we will just drag this color to this middle part that we have created for our waffle. When we did it, we will get back to our layers and we will adjust the opacity of this layer with coloring. Also, we can just go to the lines that we have here and adjust the opacity of them too. When you are quite satisfied with everything here, we can just go and merge these two layers together. And now, one more time, decide whether you want to adjust the opacity of the overall shapes here. And when you are overall satisfied, let's get back to our layers. We will go to this layer where we have our reference on. We will tap on it and we will turn off reference from this list. When we did it, we can go and start adding the shadows to this little element. Let's create one more layer, tapping on it, selecting clipping mask, go into our N icon, changing blending mode to multiply. Straight away, let's don't touch our opacity. Later on, we will adjust it. So let's just go to our color palettes and select the color with the name purple. Or you can just go and start with pink. When we did it, we will go to our brush library and we will go to the airbrushing folder. We will select our soft blend brush and let's set the opacity on this brush to around 20%. Let's adjust the size of this brush and we will start by going over the bottom and we will start adding the additional gradient here. So just start creating a soft transition between the colors going in that way. If you want to go then and adjust the opacity of this layer, you are welcome to go and do that. When you have the result like that, let's again create one more layer. We will tap on it, select clipping mask, multiply blending mode, and then we will go again to our previous brush. And you can just do it by going to this recent folder on the top and select the brush that you were using before. And now this time, let's just go to our color palettes and select the purple color. With the purple color, we will go more toward the bottom right part and we will start creating our shadow here. So let's go and firstly repeat the shapes that we have overlapped. So we are just going on the top and repeating these little elements that we have here. And then when we've repeated them, we will just go to the bottom and we will create a curve going in that way. Let's just go and adjust the size of our brush and manually we will just go and recolor the rest of the area. When we have the result like that, one more time, go into our multiply blending mode and adjusting the opacity here. If you want to change the color on this element, you are welcome to go to the color palette, select another color, for example, dark pink, and just drag it to this area. You can try out a few of these little colors and find what works for you. When you are overall satisfied, adjust the opacity if you need to even more. If you want to add an additional color here, you are welcome to go and do that. To do that, we will just need to go and create one more layer, do the same thing here, multiply blending mode, clipping mask, and for example, let's just go with another color. If you were using some kind of pinkish color, you can go with purple, or on the contrary, you can just go with pink color if you used this color that you have right here as a dark purple or any other purplish color. You can go with the same brush or you can just go with soft blend and add an additional color right here. When we are done, let's use the same soft blend brush and we will move on to our skull. Let's create one more layer, tap on it and select clipping mask. We will go, and if you want to work with a dark pink color, you are welcome to go and do that, but you also can use any other pinkish color right here. So for example, let's just go with more softer pink, so just pink, and we will go over the bottom part with our soft blend brush and we will start adding the additional color here. So very easily create smooth transitions between the colors and create the additional gradient in that way. If you overdid it, you can always go to your Magic Wand tool, Gaussian blur, and adjust the Gaussian blur by holding your Apple Pencil and moving it toward the right until you like the result. When you have the result that you like, deselect everything by hitting your Magic Wand tool. If you want to go and adjust the opacity of this layer, go to your layers and adjust it from here. If you want to erase some parts, for example, maybe you don't want this color to be on the teeth, you are welcome to go and erase this part right here. When we have the result like that, let's just get back to our layers, create one more layer on top, again clipping mask, multiply blending mode straight away. If you don't want to adjust the opacity, you can keep it as it is. We will go to our brushes, we will use our technical pen brush, the same pinkish color, and we will go over bottom part of our skull and we will start adding additional shadows here. So let's just go with something like that. You can go with the solid shapes for your shadows, or if you want, you can create some little gaps in them and create the shadow in a peculiar way. To be consistent with your shadows, you just need to imagine the light going from one of the sides over the top part, for example, and just follow this light that you have here. If you want to add some additional elements with your shadows, you are welcome to go and do that. After we've done with the shadows on the edges of the skull, let's move on to the eyes and nose. We'll draw small shadows under these elements to give the face more volume. Next, we'll go to the ice cream drippings on the top right and draw a shadow under them too. If you want, you can add a few dots of shadow on the forehead next to the heart. For this element that we have on our nose, let's firstly go and adjust the opacity to something around 30%, and then we'll go higher than this line that we have here, and without lifting up our Apple Pencil, we will just create a shape like that. Adjust it later, just create a shape without lifting up your Apple Pencil to preserve the opacity of the brush. When you are done, don't forget to get back to the maximum amount of opacity of your brush, and then let's just grab our eraser and erase the parts that we don't need. As for the overall opacity, let's just get back to our layers. We will go to this layer with our shadow and we will just go and find the opacity that works for us. So for example, something around 50% looks just good. When you are done with this task, let's just go again to our layers and continue adding our shadows. So go into the next layer, creating one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode straight away. If you want to go with the adjusting the opacity, you are welcome to go and do that. Let's just go again to our color palettes and select some pinkish color firstly, and then we will go again to our soft blend brush and we will go over the bottom parts and we will add this transition with the next color. Make a smooth gradient and also go to the left and create the transition here too. If you overdid it, go to the Gaussian blur and adjust it from here. When you are done, let's just deselect everything by hitting our Magic Wand tool twice or just one time, and then we will just go to our layers and create another layer with our shadows. So let's just go create one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode, then we will go again to our technical pen brush, and firstly, let's just go and add additional elements to our scoops of ice cream. We will just go along the shape of our ice cream and we will adjust the size of our brush and we will go with the lines like that. So vary the amount of pressure that you are putting onto your Apple Pencil and create nice pattern like that. When you are done with it, let's just go and adjust the opacity to our liking, and then we will create one more layer for another shadow. So clipping mask, multiply blending mode. Let's just go over the right side of the scoop that we have right here on the top, and let's just go and create some peculiar shadow right here. When you have the first outline, let's just go and manually recolor the rest of the area that we have on our right. And we will do the same on the opposite side too. So let's just go more toward the bottom parts and we will create our shadows here. When we are done with this task, let's just go and adjust the opacity of our multiply blending mode. So again, let's just go with something around 40%. If you want to add additional shadow color, you are welcome to go and do that. Just create one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode. If you want to go to your soft blend brush, you are welcome to go and do that. And for example, we can go with dark purple color and add additional color more on our sides of our elements. Again, if you want to go and adjust the opacity on this layer, and when you are done, let's just go to our next layer, which is our pinkish elements on the top part. Again, we are creating one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode, and let's just go and add additional colors to these parts. So for example, straight away, let's just go with this purplish color, and let's just go again in accordance with our shadows, and we will add these shadows to these little parts. When you are done, one more time, create a new layer, go into this multiply blending mode, go into our brush technical pan and go in with the pinkish or dark pink color to add the additional shadows to these elements. After dealing with the shadows on one side, don't forget to add a small shadow on the heart above the skull if you drew it. After that, go to the second half of the element and do the same steps that you did on the first one. If you want to adjust the color of your shadows and you don't want to go to your layers and one by one changing the color right here onto these little parts, you can go to this adjustments, hue, saturation and brightness and play with the hue slider. Find what works for you, and when you are done, let's just deselect everything by hitting our magic wand tool. Now, when we did it, let's continue by going to our next layer, which is our blue elements, and let's again firstly go create one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode, go into our color palettes and selecting either cyan blue or blue color. Let's start with cyan blue, and we will go again to our soft blend brush. Let's go to our tiers firstly, and we will add the additional color in that way. Just go into the bottom and creating the transition between these two colors. When you did it, let's just go to our bows and we will add the additional color on the bottom. When you are done, let's just get back to the layers. Let's create one more layer, clipping mask, multiply blending mode, go into our technical pen brush one more time, and you can keep the same color that you were using, cyan blue, for this element, and let's just go and add the shadows with it. So for our tiers, let's just go with the shapes like that. We will go more toward the bottom and we will start creating little elements going in that way. As for the bows, one more time, let's start by going to these little folds that we have here and let's add the shadows to these little elements, and then we'll go to the bottom and we will add our shadows here too. Go to the second half of the bow and add the same shadows on its folds and the bottom. Then we move on to the second bow, and it is bigger than the first one, but all the actions remain the same. Also, note that the shadows on the blue parts of the bow should be a little bit higher than on the pink. So we will show that the blue part protrudes a little forward, thus adding more volume to our illustration. And when we have the result like that, let's just go to our layers and we will go above this layer that we were using right now. Or by the way, if you want to go and adjust the opacity of this layer, you are welcome to go and do that. When you adjusted this layer, let's create one more layer on top and we will go and select Add Blending Mode. As for the opacity, for now, let's go with something around 20%. And when we did it, we will go to our color palettes. And firstly, let's just go and select this orange color that we have here. We will go to our cone and we will go to the opposite side from our shadow and we will add a little highlight here. So we will go to this part, and if you want to go right inside this little waffle element and add little highlights there too, you are welcome to go and do that. You can go with simple lines, you can go with some little dots, some sparkles, any shapes that you would like to have here. When you have it in that way, let's go and select the white color, and then we will go to this left part and we will create a big highlight like that. You can play around with the shape, you can go with something circular, you can go with maybe some dots, some sparkles, just going in that way. And when we have it in that way, one more time, where I go into our color palettes and let's just go with our cyan blue color. Cyan blue or light cyan. Just select the color and let's just go to the opposite side, and we will add a little highlight with this color on the opposite side too. When we have it in that way, let's just go continually to our illustration, and we will go to this little tear part. Let's go with our color and create little highlights like that. So again, you can start by adding the color with the blue color that you are using right now, or then switch to white and add brighter colors for these highlights. So in that manner, let's just go and add our highlights on the opposite sides from our shadows. Try not to overdo the amount of highlights, and also don't make them too large, as it's better to go only with ordinary lines and dots, so we will give our drawing volume without overlighting it. Lines look better on the edges of the objects and dots in their center. But of course, if you want, you can experiment and try something of your own. And when you are satisfied with your highlights, let's just go and work onto our eyes. So what we need to do is to go to our layers. We will go to this layer with our shapes for the eyes. We will create one more layer on top. We will tap on it to turn it to assisted. So let's just select drawing assist from the list, and we will also set it as clipping mask. When we did it, we will go to our color palette, and we will start by adding the color to the bottom. So let's just go with dark pink color, and if you want, you can go with your technical pen, or you can select round brush from the painting folder or monoline brush from the calligraphy folder. So let's just go to the bottom and let's create a shape going in that way. You can play around with it, you can go with a natural look of the line and then just go manually and recolor the rest of the area, or you can hold your line at the ends and snap it to a better shape. So when you have this first color selected, and when it is on your canvas, we will go again to our color palettes and select this middle pink color. We will step a bit from the top of this shape, and we will create another shape here. So just repeat the outline, or if you want, you can go with some other shape. Manually recolor the rest of the area, and then let's just go to our color palette and select just pink color. And again, we will do the same thing here, just repeating the outlines and adding the color inside. Now, when we have something in that way, let's just go and select either light grayish yellow, green, or white color, and we will go to this middle part and we will add a little heart here. Adjust the shape to your liking, and when you have the result like that, let's just go and add one more layer on top. We will need to snap it to our previous layer, so again, clipping mask, and then we will go to our color palettes and select this dark magenta pink color. We will go along this little part right here and create a bigger shape like that. So let's just go and connect it on the bottom, and we will snap it to a better shape. We also will need to firstly go and set this layer as assistant, so we will have it on both sides. So one more time, let's just try it out right here and create the shape like that. Hold it at the end. If you need to adjust it, go to the editing mode and adjust it from here. Let's drag the color inside, and then we will just drag this layer underneath our layer with these colored elements. Now, when we have something like that, we will get back to this layer with our colored parts. We will create one more layer here, tapping on it, selecting clipping mask. One more time, tapping on it and selecting our drawing assist, and then we will go either with the same color, or we will select the color of our lines, and we will go and create a little shape for the iris. So let's just go inside and let's create the shape like that. Again, hold it at the end, adjust the size of it, go to the editing mode and adjust the placement of it or rotation of it. It's all up to you. Find what works for you, and when you are done, let's just drag and drop the color inside. Or if you want to, manually go and add the color to the rest of the area. So when you have the result like that, let's just go to this layer and we will adjust the opacity of it. So let's just make it a little bit more transparent. So something around 66, maybe 70% will work best. Or if you want, you can go even lower or find what works for you. Just play around with these elements, and when you are done, let's just go and add some highlights. So when we have it in that way, let's create one more layer. Tapping on it, clipping mask, go into our color palettes, and let's select the white color. If you want, we can go with round brush or technical pen, and we will go over the top part and we will start adding our highlights here. So let's just go over one of the sides firstly and create a shape like that. We are not turning on our assisted drawing because we want all of our highlights to be on the same side, and we are just going manually with our shapes. So when you have this result on one side, repeat the same thing on the opposite side. And when you have it in that way, let's just go and add a few more dots with this color. When you are done with this color, one more time go into our color palette, and this time let's just go with the color purple. With the color purple, we will go somewhere to the right and we will create another highlight with this color. When you have it on one eye, do the same on the opposite side. If you want to add a few dots with this color, you are welcome to go and do that. You don't need to repeat everything with the 100% of similarity on both sides. You are welcome to go and put these highlights in a random way. So when you have it in that way, let's just get back to our color palette and let's select the color with the name either dark pink or any other pink that you have here. And with this color, let's just go and put a few more dots. Now, when you are done, let's just take a look at everything here and decide whether we want to adjust something or not. So, for example, we can go and add additional elements to our little parts on the top, for example. We can just go with darker colors or with some peculiar brush, and we can add some texture to these little parts. Of course, if you don't want to do that, we are not supposed to do that. So let's just take a look at everything here, and the last thing that we will need to do here is to go to our layers. We will go to our layer with the lines, we will create one more layer on top, we will clip it to our previous layer, and we will just go to our soft blend brush, and let's just go to these areas that we have right here on our bow, and let's just soften them up. So we can just go with cyan blue color or any other bluish color, and we will just go along these lines and we will just change the color of these elements. You can go very transparent with this little tool, or if you want to recolor them completely, you are welcome to select not the soft blend brush, just some brush that is not that transparent. If you want to go along some other areas and recolor them too, you are welcome to go and do that. So for example, we can go very softly to the sides right here on our nose element and recolor these little parts too. So spend some time here, and if you want to recolor some lines, you are welcome to go and do that. And when you did it, when you recolored everything that you wanted to be recolored, we are done with our illustration. I hope you are proud of your result. Share it on socials and tag me so I can see your beautiful creations. And if you enjoy this video, you can find more similar kawaii tutorials on my Skillshare or on Patreon, and the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.